Hi, everybody, and thank you for listening to this podcast. This is the sixth podcast of the language Meanderings. I should correct myself. Podcast. My name is Jonathan, and today I have a special guest who is an Italki teacher. Her name is Svetlana, and I've taken lessons with her with Russian and Ukrainian. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some of these differences in the two languages. And welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, Svetlana.
Okay. Hello, Jonathan. Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Svetlana, and I am a teacher of English, Ukrainian, and Russian. I teach online via Skype. And what else? I have 7 years of experience of teaching both Ukrainian, Russian, and English. And nowadays I want to speak a little about what difference you can face when you start learning a new language like Russian or Ukrainian.
Okay, yeah. So, in my experience, for example, I've had a couple years learning Russian, and about a month ago, I decided I wanted to learn a bit of Ukrainian because, if I'm not mistaken, you live in Kiev. Is that correct?
Yes, I
Oh,
live
okay.
in Kiev. It's Ukraine.
And if you remember, I don't know from the lesson a little bit, what might have been some of my initial difficulties that you noticed because I speak Russian? Is that necessarily a bad thing when I wanted to start learning Ukrainian?
Well, first thing I want to say, if you know some Russian, it will be easier for you to start learning Ukrainian because, well, these languages are related and the roots of the words are the same. So if you know Russian, yes, uh, well, if you hear people speaking Ukrainian, you will understand the meaning. Yes, even though some words are different. Yes, but so that is plus anyway. So if you're teaching your yes,
Okay.
well, your process of learning Ukrainian will be easier and faster. Yes, but anyway, we should remember these languages are two different languages. So
Hmm.
the rules are different, some sounds are different, and yes, mm, the way you speak the same. The same
Okay.
words can be different. Yes.
Okay. What let's say, for example, for people who are not familiar with either Russian or Ukrainian, could you teach us some basic expressions? For example, how would I say hello in Russian and Ukrainian? Let's say, for example, just a general greeting, not necessarily dependent on the time of day.
Okay. Yes. Well, in Russian, to say hello, we use "Здравствуйте." It's kind of formal way to say hello, and we see our friends, we say "Привет." Yes, to say goodbye, we use just same expressions "До свидания" and "Пока."
Okay.
Well,
And
yes.
in Ukrainian?
Well, in Ukrainian, it will sound a little different. So to say hello, we should say okay, just the same "Здравствуйте" or we say "Доброго дня." Okay, and we say "Привіт" when we talk to our friends. To say goodbye, say "До побачення" or "Бувай." It means bye.
Okay. Okay. How would I ask somebody, how are you? And how could I respond like, fine, thank you, and you?
Okay, in Russian you say "Как дела?" and the answer can be if good, say "Хорошо." if bad, we say плохо. If it's just normal, we say нормально.
Okay. And in Ukrainian?
Well, in Ukrainian, to say how are you, you use як справи, or you can say як життя. Okay, and the answer is добре means good, нормально means normal, or погано, it means bad.
And if I wanted to ask somebody, let's say, where are you from? And in my case, I'm from California, or I'm from the United States.
Okay. So in Russian, we should use expression откуда ты? And the answer is я из Калифорнии. I'm from California. Я из Соединенных Штатов. I'm from the USA. In Ukrainian, okay. Ukrainian we say звідки ви? Yes. Where are you from? The answer is я з Каліфорнії. Я зі Сполучених Штатів. I'm from the United States.
Okay. And in my case, I don't live in the United States. I haven't actually lived there in 13 years. I've been living abroad for a while now. So if I wanted to say, where do you live? And I live in Mexico, how could I express that?
Okay. Well, in Russian to say, где ты живешь? The answer is я живу в Мексике. Yes. In Ukrainian, it will sound more like где ты живешь? Я живу у Мексиці.
Okay. And now that I've started some of my studies in the language, how can I say, do you speak Russian? Do you speak Ukrainian?
Okay.
And yes, I speak a little.
Okay. Do you speak Russian or Ukrainian? Ты разговариваешь на русском і на українському. Ти розмовляєш російською або українською мовою? Yes. The answer is да, я немного говорю по-русски. Or так, я трохи розмовляю українською.
Okay, perfect. And what would be some other bits of information that I could think of? Could you count from 1 to 10?
Okay. The first Russian, with or without translation?
Let's do it without translation.
Okay. Okay. Так, let's count it from 1 to 10 in Russian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the same in Ukrainian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. And now that I've met you for the first time, how could I tell you it's nice to meet you, and maybe the other person could tell me it's nice to meet you too?
Okay. Well, in Russian, first we should, yes, to get acquainted, to say меня зовут Svetlana, а вас? Yes, you should answer меня зовут Jonathan. And then you add приятно познакомиться.
Okay, just to clarify, so you asked me what my name was, and you answered, and then you said nice to meet you. Okay.
Yes, nice to meet you. Приятно
In
познакомиться.
Ukrainian?
The other phrase you can use is очень приятно. It means just the same. Yes. Very nice to meet you. Okay. And I repeat. Okay, yes, just the same. И мне
In
приятно.
Ukrainian? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, and in Ukrainian it will sound just little different. Як вас звати? Мене звати Світлана. А вас? Мене звати Джонатан. Yes, my name is Jonathan. Приємно познайомитись. And I repeat, і мені приємно, Jonathan.
Okay, perfect. What about your interests? So how could I ask you, what do you like to do? And let's say for me, I like to study foreign languages.
Okay. In Russian we say it, чем вы любите заниматься? Yes. And the answer will be, мне нравится изучать иностранные языки. Yes. So in Ukrainian, okay, now in Ukrainian. Чим ви любите займатися? Які ваші хобі? And the answer is, мені подобається вивчати іноземні мови.
Okay. And talking about my family background, let's say, if you are going to ask a man, are you married? Or if you're going to ask a woman, are you married? How would I ask that? And how would I answer yes as a man, yes, I'm married, or yes, I'm married as a woman?
Okay, yes, but in Russian, you know the difference that to say if a man is married, we say женат. Yes, if a woman is married, we say замужем. Yes, so you should ask, for example, if I ask you, I ask Jonathan, ты женат? And you answer, да, я женат.
Okay.
Yes, I'm married. So if
And
you
if
ask
I ask
me,
you,
yes, you should say, Svetlana, а ты замужем? Я отвечаю, I answer, yes, yes, I'm married. Да, я замужем.
okay.
If not, I say, нет, я не замужем.
Okay. And in Ukrainian?
In Ukrainian, for a man, ви женатий, або ти женатий, відповідь буде так, я женатий. And with woman, ти заміжня, так, я заміжня.
Okay, perfect. And let's say if I have kids, do you have kids? And I can answer yes, I have a son and I have a daughter.
Okay. In Russian, it will be, у тебе є діти? The answer is, так, у мене є діти, у мене син і дочка. So, sorry, it will be in Ukrainian.
That's fine. And now in Russian?
I'm starting to switch in languages. Okay, yeah, that was in Ukrainian, sorry. And now the same in Russian.
We want to mix it up a little bit to keep
Yes,
listeners on their feet.
You got tired switching between the languages. Okay, in Russian. У вас есть дети? Да, у меня есть дети, у меня сын и дочь.
Perfect. Okay, so I think that gives people maybe a pretty good introduction to both Russian and Ukrainian. So thank you for that. And how should I say thank you?
In Russian, спасибо. Yes, and in Ukrainian it is дякую.
Okay, and how would you answer me?
Yes, in Russian I say пожалуйста, and in Ukrainian I say будь ласка.
Perfect. Okay. In your experience teaching students both Russian and Ukrainian, a big aspect that I hear many language learners when they are faced with Russian is that they say, "Oh wow, okay, there's the Cyrillic alphabet. That's just okay. If I come from a language that uses the Latin alphabet, Cyrillic is a real challenge." There are the
Cyrillic
no?
is not is not the biggest challenge. So yes, we have just the same sounds but written in other ways. So uh, it's not that hard. The hardest thing to if you start studying Russian or Ukrainian is soft, yes, soft consonant sounds
Okay.
because
What is a soft consonant and what is a hard consonant for people who don't know that?
okay, so uh, hard to explain. Well, I don't know. Well, in for example, if we compare two syllables, well, even in English, like lily, and I don't know, just lolo, you see the difference. In word lily, we have soft consonants, and lolo, we have hard consonants. But if in English we have soft only with I,
Okay. Hmm.
yes, or e sound, yes, but uh, in Russian we have number of situation, and well, just I don't know, we have half soft sounds and half consonants are hard. And that is
Okay.
why that's yes, lots of English speaking people, they face difficulties
Okay.
this
I
part.
think this is an aspect of pronunciation that we could look into in more detail. I think perhaps on one of the Wikipedia articles for the Russian phonology, you can see some details about the hard and soft consonants. Um, and do you have any tips for learning, let's say, the Cyrillic alphabet for people who haven't experienced learning that yet?
Mm, I don't know. Well, Cyrillic alphabet, it's I don't know. It's learning alphabet. It's kind of fun. So, um, I divide the alphabet into some parts. The first part, um, the same sounds that are the same in English and Russian or Ukrainian, doesn't matter. Sounds that look the same but sounds different.
Okay.
Yes, and sounds that how to say sounds the same, sounds very similar but are written in different way. And the last part is new letters. So yes,
Okay.
new sounds and new writing.
Okay, that makes sense. I think kind of a divide and conquer approach to start with what you're familiar with, and then progressively develop some more familiarity with the sounds and the spelling that might be new or different. Okay, so I think on the website we'll kind of break down the letters and what would be a good way to start learning those letters, and with some typical easy words to learn those. How many letters are there in the Russian alphabet?
In Russian alphabet, there are 33 letters.
And in the Ukrainian?
In Ukrainian, we have 32 letters.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Interesting. And another big thing I hear students talking about with Russian is the noun and adjective declensions. Do you have any tips for is there a best order of approaching? Should we learn one case and then another case and just spend time with one unique case, or should we kind of learn them all together? What are some of your recommendations for that?
No, best practice is to learn one case, to practice it, then we add another case, we practice this case, the second case, then we mix two cases together to feel the
Okay.
difference, then we add the third one, and so on, so on, yes. And in the end, we come with the common table where all the cases are set in. say,
Okay.
and their rules and their endings. Yes, well, I know
Okay.
that,
And
that cases sounds, yes, it sounds the best, the I have to say the hardest topic
mhm.
for learners. Yes, but actually, well, if you know cases and if you know, um, I don't know, how to say, how to make present time of verbs, so uh, well, then you can speak. You can speak Russian anyway. So it's yes. So
Okay.
it's
So, is there an order of these cases that you would recommend? In terms of the nominative, accusative, genitive, dative, instrumental, and prepositional. Is there an order that you would recommend?
oh, I don't know. Just it depends on the student. Sometimes yes. First we start from the nominative, of course. Then we start from accusative. Um, then what do we have? Then genitive and all the others in
Okay.
any, just yes, in
Okay.
any
So,
way you like.
okay. So for people who aren't familiar with what cases are, what does a case do? What is its function? The case in the Russian language, for example.
Well, in Russian language, the cases, how to say, uh, they give the grammatical sense of the word, of the noun. Yes. So if you have noun, uh, it always has two senses. So the first sense is uh, lexical sense, like vocabulary. Yes, but uh, the case gives the grammatical sense. So we use cases in English. We do not have cases, but we have different prepositions and so on. Yes,
Ah,
but
yes.
in Russian or Ukrainian, mm, we have preposition only in uh, locative case, but in all the other cases, to to show the meaning, uh, we use ending, and this ending, this case, it gives how to say grammatical meaning to the sentence.
Okay, so for example, the nominative is the subject of the sentence of who is doing the action.
Yes, and for example, and the genitive will be the object. Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
and
yes.
why is that also the accusative, the object?
Uh, yes, it can be. Okay, both. Okay. Yes. So, for example, well, you know that in Russian and Ukrainian, the order of the words in a sentence can be any. Yes.
So it's very flexible. Okay, it's a
Yes, very
flexible
flexible. So if you say,
syntax.
for example, in English that uh, a boy is, I don't know, is catching a fish, yes,
Okay, he's catching a fish.
yes. So you know that the boy is subject, yes, but I can say in Russian, мальчик ловит рыбу.
Uh-huh.
It's just the same, yes, uh, the same meaning. But I can say uh, мальчика ловит рыба. It means a fish is catching a boy.
Ah, okay.
And
Okay,
so,
so I
yes,
changed the
so
order.
if you say, so the order of word is just the same, but the meaning is different because we use different cases.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, I see.
Мальчик ловит рыбу and мальчика ловит рыба.
Okay, so it's not necessarily the word order that determines the meaning, like in English, of the boy catches the fish, or in this case in English, the fish catches the boy. It's you have to listen, you have to pay attention to the case endings. Okay, that's interesting. And okay, and another important detail that I hear for learning Russian and Ukrainian is verb aspects. I've heard that there are kind of imperfective and perfective verbs. What is that meaning? What does that represent in the language?
Okay, so let's say, well, it's better to start with perfective. Well, perfective aspect is the action that is completed. So
Okay.
in English, it's we use present perfect or past perfect to describe this action. Yes, so we use a special time. Well, in Russian, we have only 3 times.
Okay.
Yes,
Three tenses:
three tenses.
present,
Yes, we have
past,
three
and
tenses. So,
future.
and that's why to show a perfect action, we use perfective aspect. For
Okay.
example, with the word we have читать, to read. Yes,
Hmm.
when we say я прочитала книгу, it means I have read the book. I
So
have
you
read it
finished it.
completely. Yes, I
You finished
finished
it. Okay.
reading. If I say я читала, it is imperfective. It means I was reading a book.
Okay.
So
And that
yes,
you didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it. So I was in the process. I started reading it, but well, it means it's not finished now.
Okay.
Yes.
What if, let's say, one of my New Year's resolutions was, I'm going to read this book? Do Russians think, Russian speakers and Ukrainian speakers, they have to think about this aspect of, are you going to fulfill that resolution to finish the book? So at the beginning of January, I would say, uh, I will finish this book. How would you say that?
Well, in Russian and Ukrainian, well, you don't have something like this, like the structure I'm going to. So you can say just like this, я собираюсь прочитать книгу, yes, but it means like I don't know, I'm planning.
Okay.
I'm planning, yes. So it's not just the same meaning as going to. Actually, we use future tense to describe all everything that consider I don't know that can be described in future. So it's both future tense and going to.
Okay. So if I was determined to finish a book and I would say, I will read, I will finish this book, how should I say that?
Я прочитаю эту книгу или if you want to say I will finish reading, я дочитаю эту книгу.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, here
And
we
can I
also can.
use?
Yes, here you can also use perfective and imperfective. Yes.
Okay. And if I use the imperfective in the future, that means I will be reading this book,
Yes.
but not necessarily finishing it.
Yes. It means я буду читать книгу. Yes. For
So
example,
I
I
will be
don't know
reading,
if I
not
tell you for
necessarily.
my plans. If I tell you my plans for this evening, I can say you I will read. So yes, I will read a novel. Я буду читать книгу
Okay.
сегодня. Yes. But if I say you я прочитаю книгу в этом месяце, it means I will finish
Okay.
reading.
Okay. Can I use the perfective in the present tense?
No, in present tense you cannot use perfective and imperfective. So in present tense everything is I don't know. It's like
It's
more
just the
imperfective.
imperfective. Okay.
Yes, it's imperfective because say я читаю. Well, it just I'm reading or I
Okay.
read. So you cannot say it doesn't matter if you finish it or not. So
Okay.
yes, present is action going. So you do not use perfective
Okay.
here.
Interesting. And another thing I hear that's kind of difficult for learners for Russian is movement verbs. Why is this so difficult for language learners for Russian?
Well, with movement words, we have some mm, say another rules. Uh, besides that, we have, let's say, well, movement words divide into words that shows continuous action. Yes, action that takes place right now, and there are actions that, let's say, take place in general. For
Okay.
example, if I say, I don't know, я иду, it means I'm going. No, but я хожу, it means I go every day.
Okay.
Yes. And another point that these movement words, they have lots of prepositions and
Okay.
not prepositions, prefixes, sorry.
Oh,
And
okay.
these prefixes, they, how to say, they change the meaning a little. Yes. And that is why it's, well, you do not learn just one word. You have to learn, I don't know, 20 words. If
Okay.
you learn all the words with all the prefixes, it will be, yes, lots of work.
A little overwhelming, I can imagine. And is it important to distinguish between, let's say, if you're going to go walking or go by car? Is there a difference in Russian?
Yes, there is difference in Russian, and in Russian, if you use a car, it will be ехать. Yes, and if you go without a car, just on your feet, it will be идти.
Okay. So I would have to keep in mind if I'm going right now by car, or if I go in general by car, and if I'm going right now on foot, and if I'm going in
Yes.
general on foot.
Yes.
So I have to keep in mind those four differences. And on top of that, I have to add prefixes. And the prefixes, these show uh, maybe I enter, maybe I go in front of something, maybe I leave somewhere. So okay,
Yes.
this is a
And
very rich.
they also mean, yes, there are lots of prefixes, like if you are going, I don't know, if you start the action, if you are restart the action, if you finish the action, just the same. So it's yes.
Okay, that's a very rich uh, system that you have in place there. So if I just wanted to say I'm going, uh, it's almost like walking into a Starbucks and saying I'd like some coffee, and they say
What
you need to
coffee?
be a little more specific. Do you want a tall? Do you want an alto? Do you want that with whole milk? Do you want it with half and half? Do you want it with some cream? Do you want it with some sprinkles? Do you want some flavor, some vanilla, some hazelnut?
Yes.
It's a bit overwhelming. I think you can't just go into Starbucks and order coffee. So
Yes,
for
but
Russian, you can't just say go. You have to be more specific.
yes, but anyway, if you just start learning language, so it's no one asks you to use I don't know, all these words with specific meaning. So if you can express your thoughts, that is all right.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yes.
So basically, don't worry about the Russian grammar, even though it might be a bit overwhelming. Just start speaking. Okay, that's
Yes,
a good
the
approach.
main thing is to start speaking, and people will understand you anyway.
Okay, yeah. So despite the mistakes, which are probably going to happen, so don't worry about that. Just keep practicing. Okay. So this is a lot of great insights and a lot of great input. Thank you for explaining all of this. And if students are interested in taking a lesson with you, how should they get in contact with you?
Okay. Uh, I have a profile on the italki site, so mm, so you should register on italki, and then you choose your teacher. Just If you're interested in to take lessons with me, you should find my profile. It will be italki.com/teacher/2857518.
Can you say that number again?
Okay. 2857518.
Perfect. And I'll provide a link to Svetlana's italki profile, and make sure to tell her that you heard her on this podcast, and she'll be happy to help you with your Russian or Ukrainian studies. She's an excellent teacher. I highly recommend her. I've had some really great classes with her, and she's been very active in helping me. She's also been very helpful for correcting some of my italki notebook entries, and she's written some good articles on the italki platform as well. I remember there's one about some Russian movies that she recommended. So she's got a lot of good insights and can recommend a lot of excellent resources. So thank you again for coming on the show and for giving people a small taste of Russian and Ukrainian. And on the website, we'll have the transcript. So if you want to listen to the words and see how they're written, you can take a look at that on the website. And once again, if you'd like to take some English classes with me or hear more about my language meanderings, you can visit my website at hugginsinternational.com. That's HUGGINS international.com, or feel free to send me an email at hugginsinternational@gmail.com. So thank you everyone for listening to the podcast, and I look forward to the next one. And I hope in the future we can have Svetlana on here again, and maybe we can go into some more intermediate, advanced points for Russian and Ukrainian. So thank you again